Thank you. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivadi Hari Gopijana Vallabha Girivadi Hari Yasodhanandana Raja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Panachari Yamuna Tira Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayum Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pavakacharya Stotara Satashi Shrimad. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayum Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pavakacharya Stotara Satashi Shrimad. His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Namachar Sridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the dissembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So today we are continuing with our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are in the 10th canto, and we are continuing with Krishna and Balaram entering into Mathura and bringing fear into the heart of Kamsa, wicked Kamsa. So the last few days it's been very busy here. Many devotees were going to different programs, and we had Nityananda's appearance day here. And last night there was many devotees coming, so it's kind of like a big tsunami came in, and now the tide has receded, and there's just a few of us left on the beach. So I'm going to bring us back to Srimad Bhagavatam, bring us back to Krishna's pastimes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ganati Manandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chaksu Militanyana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we had been honoring the appearance of Nityananda, who is the Akanda Guru, and we were understanding that it is only by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, who is the original spiritual master, that we can get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is non-different than Radha and Krishna, and then enter into the pastimes of Vrindavan and into the pastimes of Radha Krishna. So here we have taken shelter and taken shelter of Shilanaratam Das Thakur. So we're praying to be able to actually absorb ourselves in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Bhagavatam, it's not meant to just read through quickly like a book and think, all right, now I've read it. I know everything. Because it's not an academic study. It's not an ascending process, but it's a descending. So we try to focus on each word of the Bhagavatam and to deliberate and to also see how can I apply this in my own life. Excuse me. So we are on 10, Canto, 42nd chapter, text number 2. Katwam vayor etaru anupalepanam. Katwam varov etaru kanulepanam. Kasyanganeva katayasva saduna. Yanganeva kasyasava saduna. Dehi avayor anga ilepan utamam. Dehi avayor anga pipilam utamam. Shreyas tatatena chira bhavishyati. Katwam vayor etaru anupanepanam. Ashyanganeva katayasvasarunaha. Dehi avayo anga vilepam uttamam. Shreyastatasте nachirar bhavishyati. Devotees, Katwam varo etaru anulepanam. Kashangane va kasyazavasaruna. Aya anga vilepamuttamam. Shreyastatasте nachirar bhavishyati. Katwam varo etaru anulepanam. Kashangane va katyasvasaruna. Dehi avaya anga vilepam uttamam. Shreyastatasте nachara bhavishyati. So we'll go with the synonyms. Ka, who, twam, you, varu uru, oh beautiful thighed one, etat, this, uha, ah indeed, anulepanam, ointment, kasya, for who, angane, my dear woman, va, or, katasyasva, please tell, sadhu, honestly, naha, us, dehi, please give, avayo, to us too, angavilepam, body ointment, uttamam, excellent, shreyaha, benefit, tataha, thereafter, te, your, na, nachira, soon, bhavishyati, will be. Translation. Lord Krishna said, who are you, O beautiful thighed one? Ah, ointment. Who is it for, my dear lady? Please tell us truthfully. Give us both some of your finest ointment, and you will soon gain a great boon. So you can repeat, who are you, O beautiful thighed one? Ah, ointment. Who is it for, my dear lady? Please tell us truthfully. Give us both some of your finest ointment, and you will soon gain a great boon. Purport by the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. The Lord jokingly addressed the lady as Varairu, O beautiful thighed one. His joke was not malicious, since he was actually about to make her beautiful. And I'll read the other commentaries before speaking. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur comments, Krishna just kubed as a beautiful woman in a joking mood with his own internal motives. Who are you? For whom are you taking the ointments? So here it's saying Krishna had his own internal ointments. Jiva Goswami, tell us truthfully or tell us properly, since out of shyness she did not speak clearly. Or tell us if that ointment is suitable for our limbs. Hari Mamsa says, Twam uvacha hasitim tu Krishna kubjam avishtitam ubayor gatra sadisham Diatam Anuple Panam. Krishna said to smiling Kubja, you should give that ointment suitable for our limbs. Vayam Videsha Titayo Malaha Prapta Varyane Danor Mahan Divyandrastun Shaiva Mahuraminat. We, two wrestlers from a different place, have come to see the great sacrifice of the bow and the prosperous city. Krishna addresses her twice, Varo and Angane, as a joke. Not only are your thighs beautiful, Varayo, but all your limbs are beautiful. Angane, you have all good qualities. Because of one fault, you appear to have many faults. Sanatana Goswami, tell us truthfully, Sadhu, for whose use is this ungan made from sandalwood? Or tell us about the excellent sadhu ointment. It is suitable for our limbs. Harivamsa says, Atan uvacha hasatim to Krishna, kubjam avastitam ubayora gatra sadashan diatam anule papanam. Krishna said to smiling Kubja, you should give that ointment suitable for our limbs. Vayam vedeshyato malaha prapta varane danur mahan divya darastum shaiva maharadimat. We, two wrestlers from a different place, have come to see the great sacrifice of the bow and the prosperous city. Excuse me. You'll gain a great benediction by giving this ointment. Tataha. This will happen soon. It will not happen, or it will not happen for a long time. This is a joke. He addresses her twice as a joke, or because of her beauty. Not have a voice today. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pustaya Bhutale Shrimati Hridayananda Goswami Iti Namane. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pustaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachanine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashitashatane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, unto my spiritual master, unto my Shiksha Guru, unto our Guru Varga, and to all the devotees that happen to be online. And I am praying to be able to speak something today that will be beneficial. They say when we give class, not only should it be beneficial for ourselves, but for others, and it should be such a truth and inspiring. So here we see that Krishna and Balaram have been making their way through the city of Mathura. They're scoping things out before the next sacrifice will take place. We know that they met with different personalities, and according to the different personalities, they were reciprocated accordingly. The last person they met with was Sudama, the florist, who pleased them by making very beautiful garlands. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one offers me a leaf, a fruit, or a flower with devotion. So Sudama, he offered a beautiful garland of flowers with devotion. And we know that previously there was a washerman who wanted to sell his cloth. He refused to give anything to Krishna and Balaram, and he met with losing his head. And he was very proud of being a servant of Kamsa. So here we find Kubja, who externally did not appear very pretty. They said she had a nice face, but her body was bent in 3 places. So it's explained later by the acharyas that she was bent in 3 places because she was actually an expansion of Satyabhama. And she was the earth itself that was being burdened by the evildoers of the kings. The earth was being burdened, so Krishna had been called to rid the earth of the demons. And so Kubja was bent over by the sinful reactions. And Krishna himself, who had come to free the earth of the demoniac mentality, would also show that by the straightening of Kubja. We'll see later on that Krishna straightens her. So here it appears that Krishna is joking and making fun, but his jokes are never malicious because he actually has an intention. He actually plans on straightening Kubja and making her the most beautiful woman because he can see that actually Kubja, upon seeing Krishna and Balaram, she became so enamored by their beauty and very, very attracted to Krishna and was very shy. So much so that although she knew that anyone who went against Kamsa's desire would be killed, that Kamsa was so cruel. And yet when Krishna and Balaram wanted the ointments that she was carrying, she was willing to give her life. She didn't care about her own life just so that she can give these ointments. Now it's explained by the acharyas in different books by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that this madhurya, this conjugal mood that Kubja has for Krishna, it's not the same of the mood of the gopis. Because the gopis, they're not concerned with anything for their own pleasure. They just want to give pleasure to Krishna. That's their only concern. So they're sacrificing everything for Krishna's pleasure. But Kubja's desire was to enjoy with Krishna. So it was a different mood. But Krishna could still see what her intention was. And Krishna could also see what her internal mood was towards him. And so he was going to reciprocate in a very appropriate way. And he tells her, if you give these things to me, you will get a great boon. He's already letting her know. So here it seems like, why is Krishna making fun of him? She's bent in 3 places. Kamsa, only reason Kamsa keeps her around is because he likes these oils. She makes these beautiful, fragrant oils. And Kamsa was very concerned when this big festival came that he should be very attractive. So she had made the finest oils to be able to please Kamsa. And Kamsa was feeling, he would have a nice cloth, nice oils. He would have a raised seat. He had a whole plan. So Kubja was willing to just take the oils that were meant for Kamsa, give them to Krishna. And so this was quite a surrender on her part. But she was so enamored by the beauty of Krishna, she forgot about everything. So when I first read this, I was thinking, oh, I remember one time before in another yuga when the Supreme Lord, Krishna and Balaram, in the form of Ram and Lakshman, were approached by someone that was attracted to them. And that, as we know, was Supernaka, who was a sister of Ravana. So she saw she saw Ram and Lakshman. She was very attracted to Ram. And she approached Ram that she wanted to have a relationship with him. And Ram said, I only have one wife. I'm at this Eka vow that I only have one wife. But you should go to my brother Lakshman. He's very handsome. And Lakshman said, oh, you don't want to marry me because if you marry me, I'm just a servant of my brother. You'll just be the maid servant. So they were joking with her. She had actually presented herself as a very beautiful woman at that time. They were joking with her. But she reacted very differently to their joking, so much that she actually attacked Mother Sita. And then when she attacked Sita, her nose was cut off. That was the beginning of the whole battle in the Ramayana. So it's explained that actually that very Supernaka, because she did have some conjugal attraction, that in Krishna Lila and Dwarpa Lila, that she comes as Kubja and will get that opportunity to have a relationship with Ram in the form of Krishna. So we see that whatever Krishna does, it's never malicious. Krishna always has a plan. He always knows what's best. So yesterday, when I was reading about looking up different things about this pastime and kubja, I ran into something which had a purport about a commentary by Srila Radhanath Maharaj. It was interesting because his disciple was here this weekend, and then I ran into something that he had written, Radhanath Maharaj. And I'm just going to read a little bit, and then I'll go on. As Krishna entered Mathura, he came across a hunchback woman. Her name was Kubja, and Krishna saw her. She was bent down, her limbs were deformed due to her hunchback. She was quite unsightly. She had a nice face, but the rest of her body was in a diseased condition from an orthopedic perspective. She was carrying the most fine fragrances and oils. It was so nice that Krishna actually smelt it and was attracted to her. Came up to her, and Krishna revealed his own love to her through his smile, through his charm, his glance, his form. So Krishna is revealing his love to us quite often through the deity form when he gives us a smile or a glance. And while everybody in Mathura considered her very ugly, Krishna said, "Oh, beautiful lady, what is this you are carrying?" She explained that she was a servant of Kamsa, and she introduced herself by the name Chivikara, bent in 3 places, not like Tribanga. Krishna bends are very beautiful, but Chivikara means hunchback bends. Kamsa liked nothing about Kubja, except that she made the best oils as he facilitated her by giving her the opportunity. Understand that there was a big ceremony coming up. Krishna and Balaram were invited to the wrestling arena. Kamsa had a big stadium created for this purpose. His ministers, queens, generals, and the most distinguished people, as well as the common people in Mathura, were all going to be present there. On Highlight Festival, Kamsa was conducting what he wanted to be his best, to look beautiful and smell beautiful. Kubja made very special mixture of fragrant oils and cups for Kamsa on that day, and he was expecting them from her. He was a violent, cruel dictator. If you did not do what he wants, he ends your life immediately. Everyone knows if I do not please Kamsa, my life will be ended. So Kubja knew the sociology of Kamsa's Mathura. So here she was, on her way to Kamsa's palace to give him these oils and pulps for his pleasure. And Krishna said, "Give the best of these oils to me." And my brother Balaram Kubja was so happy. She said that these oils are only meant for you and your friends. Just by seeing Krishna, she became overwhelmed with joy and bliss. The 2 of you are so beautiful. You have captured my heart, that these oils are your property for your pleasure. I'll give you everything that you want. This is the nature of her love. She just wanted to give everything to Krishna. Very similar to the gopis when Krishna played his flute under the Vamsiva tree on the bank of the Yamuna. He was calling gopis for his pleasure. They did not consider the consequences to themselves. They only thought what would be the best to please Krishna. They knew that they could be rejected by society, by family, by everyone, but if it pleases Krishna, those things were not even something to consider in their minds. So Krishna was so pleased because she gave the best. She was fearless. So this is an instruction for us that in the service to Krishna, we have to become fearless. So Krishna looked at Balaram and his friends, made them laugh and smiled, and looked at Kubja and did something wonderful. So Krishna's friends were there, and he also likes to entertain the boys or young boys, and they have a good sense of humor. But it was all done in fun, not in any kind of maliciousness. And here we're speaking about wanting to be fearless. So that was the example that Srila Prabhupada set in his mood of serving his spiritual master. So we begin to have that fearlessness in service to Krishna by carrying out the instructions to our own spiritual master and being fearless and knowing that the success potency is there in the instructions of the spiritual master. So Krishna looked at Balaram and his friends, made them laugh and smiled, and looked at Kubja and did something wonderful. He placed his toes on her toes, with his feet covering her toes. Then he took one finger from each of his hands and placed them under her chin, and with a lovely smile, he very gracefully just pulled her head up, and miraculously her back became completely straight. All limbs were exquisite, and she became absolutely, indescribably, incredibly beautiful. She turned out to be the most beautiful woman, and then Lord embraced her, and by this embrace, all her desire was fulfilled. So here's the moral of the story, which applies to us fallen, conditioned souls. Even though Kubja was very crooked and was in a very unfortunate, pitiful condition physically, Krishna saw the potential in her. Krishna did not see her as a hunchback. He saw the potential in her. He actually gave her the realization of her potential. So the Guru sees the potential in all of us, and he helps us to come to the realization of our potential. He doesn't see our external being, but he sees what is our potential. She was in a very lamentable situation. Krishna saw her potential, and because he saw her potential, he manifested before her. Actually, Krishna sees potential and beauty in every living being. That is our hope. So we're praying that somehow or other, Krishna, you will see the potential within me. Now, it might not manifest on the gross material platform, but within the heart. And Srila Prabhupada explained that when we engage in pure devotional service, our heart becomes cleansed, our subtle body becomes cleansed. Prabhupada said that he turned hippies into happies. Emotionally, mentally, physically, we all have our crookedness. Nityananda Prabhu saw the potential in Jagai and Madai. Hanuman saw the potential in Ravana. Of course, Ravana was not very cooperative. This is Krishna's vision. He descends in this world where there is so much crookedness, but he sees the spiritual potential in everyone. When Srila Prabhupada came to New York, we read in Lilamrita and some of his lectures, these people that who we were coming were like Kubjas, very crooked, taking all sorts of intoxication, illicit relationships. They were not seekers of the truth. Many of them were in a pitiful condition, very crooked. They were not even Kubja, who came to Krishna with nice fragrances. They had bad fragrances. Some of the hippies, they didn't even bathe nicely, so they had very bad fragrances, or they smelled from alcohol, or they smelled from marijuana. So it wasn't like Kubja, who Krishna was actually attracted to her beautiful scents. Of course, we want to have nice scents on the altar, actually. So when we have the opportunity, we should always be looking to find the best scent to offer to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was seeing the potential in everyone, and on behalf of Krishna, he did not say, I will do this, I'm your representative, through me I will make these people happy. Through satsang, through Harikatha Seva, Japa, Hari Kirtan, Krishna, through Srila Prabhupada, was straightening us up, making us beautiful. Srila Prabhupada would say, now they are bright-faced. So when you can see the old movies of Srila Prabhupada, dancing in Thompson Square, surrounded by the devotees, the early videos, how Prabhupada was just taking everybody and just had so much faith, it was like Prabhupada was like a sculpture, He was able to transform by his own Shuddha Bhakti. So this is what a Vaishnava is, that he sees the potential in each other. Anybody could look at Kubja and say, look at that ugly hunchback with the firm limbs. The false ego make it seem that we are really heroic, really learned, advanced, because I have the power to condemn other people's faults, to criticize. So here he comes to the point that it's very easy to criticize others and to look at others' faults, but that is our crookedness. Instead, we should be looking at others and see what are the good qualities in others. That's how material energy works. She gives us a certain satisfaction and a certain prestige. prajalpa at its worst, unnecessary talking. Talk whimsically, frivolously. The worst is when we talk about the faults of other, because it gives me some morbid sense of value, that I can judge another's faults. That gives me an esteemed position. That gives me some superior role. So here he's saying that people fault find in others because actually they feel so insecure within themselves. They feel so unqualified. So if I talk about someone else's faults, then I can avoid the pain. But the real solution is to have that mentality like the guru, like Krishna, to see the potential in everyone and to just, there's always something nice that you can say about someone. And if you don't have anything nice to say, then you can just think, there's some lack in me. I have nothing nice to say. So let me just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Rupa Goswami said that the nature of a true devotee is propensity to, the, the nature of a true is the propensity to find fault with other no longer exists in the heart. So a Vaishnava, a true bhakta, is one who sees the potential even when there is the hunchback and the deformation. Unless great souls see the potential in us, we have no capacity and hope to actually be straightened up and restored. What was Kubja's qualification? Krishna saw her potential and Krishna approached her and gave her the opportunity to serve. Srila Prabhupada saw the potential in us and gave us the opportunity to serve whatever our hunchbacks. He saw we were perfect devotees in the core of our heart, and he straightened us up. So he goes on to say that this is how we're meant to deal with each other, and this is how we can have a beautiful community, that we overlook the shortcomings of each other and that we try to help each other elevate in devotional service. Time of death is very close, and we make so many things so significant that are actually very insignificant. And instead, we should just focus on those things that are positive and allow our spiritual master to lift us up and to help lift up others. To see the beautiful potential in every being and to see that every being is a beautiful lover of Krishna. So I thought this was just so really beautiful. He says Krishna with his two lotus hands and lotus feet, he pulled her up. He's giving us the same opportunity. Param Vidayate, to become restored to a beautiful, natural, perfect, loving condition through the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As soon as she was straightened, ecstatic conjugal love came in her heart. When we are straightened, ecstatic, intimate love, prema bhakti, awakens in our heart. So this is a very beautiful explanation here given by Suranath Swami. I just found it to be very touching and very applicable in our own life, that whatever condition we're in due to our past karma or due to our own previous activities, if we take shelter of the holy name, if we associate with the devotees, if we hear transcendental sound vibration, and with the best of our ability, we try to offer whatever we have unto the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna will reciprocate. He sees our intention. It was a discussion I was listening online. I think Jadharani had asked a question about intention, that Krishna sees what is the intention within the heart of every living entity. So how do we purify our intention? One way we become purified is that we actually associate with those that have a good intention. In Spanish, it's dime con quien andas y yo diga que quien eres. Tell me who you walk with, and I'll tell you who you are. So when we associate with those that are aspiring for pure devotional service, for those that have a taste, that have bhava, who have enthusiasm, that naturally goes into our heart. So what does it mean to associate? Association means to render service. Like here we see that Kubja, she wasn't just like in Shantaras, oh, there goes Krishna and Balaram. They're so beautiful. It's so nice to look at them. But she wanted to serve them. Krishna made a request. He wanted those oils, and she was willing to give the Kamsa's best oils for the pleasure of Krishna and Balaram. So she was willing to serve. So by service, we develop a relationship. And when we serve together, like sometimes devotees will feel like I feel isolated or I don't have association. But over the years, I always notice that when we hear and chant with devotees, when we discuss spiritual topics, when we render service together, then we develop relationships because Krishna is the center, Radha Krishna, the center, Shri Shri Gaura Nitai. And when we come together to serve, it brings us together. So Srila Prabhupada is so kind. They say he's given us a house we can live in, and there's many, many different rooms. And Srila Prabhupada, he sees the potential in everyone. So it also is very important to us when somebody comes or they come to the temple or they come to us that we try to see what is the potential. I remember in my own life when I was managing the temple, one devotee, when Induleka, she first came to our community, I saw, oh, she can make jewelry. She can make beautiful jewelry for Radha Golokananda. So she started making that jewelry many, many, many years ago, and she's still making that jewelry till today. And it through ups and downs and trials and tribulations, her connection became so strong because of that service. And our connection as friendship became strong because we were focused on serving the deities together. And I remember when Navakishori came to the temple, I thought, oh, you can sew nicely. Why don't you make some outfits? So she started sewing for the deities. So a devotee sees like this. In the material world, someone sees something or someone, they think, what can you do for me? But instead we think, what can you do for Krishna? Oh, you like to cook. Actually, I remember when Kalyan first came here years ago, I thought, oh, he's Bengali. I bet he can make some nice, Bengali preparations for the Lord. He started cooking the Sunday feast. And still years later, he cooks for major festivals. So Jadharani, we put her to, can you make something nice? So devotees always sing in that way. And then when we do service together, we develop a very nice bond in that way. Or, Champakalata, she likes to teach the girls to dance. Like last night, they did a little drama. So by coming together and dancing, then they feel connected. They feel connected with the deities. They feel connected with the community. They feel support. So this is the importance that we see the potential. It's very easy to see faults. I mean, it's so easy to see faults. And usually the reason we see faults in others is our own faults are so painful to us. We realize that I have so many faults, it's so painful. So we criticize others so that we don't face our own faults. That's the real psychology. But instead, let me just understand Krishna is seeing who I really am. He knows who I really am. So let me see the good in others and let us all just try to do some seva, try to please and become absorbed. So anyway, thank you very much. I was going to read from Krishna book, but then I read this. I thought this was so beautiful from Ramnath Maharaj. So hopeful, so very, very hopeful. So would anyone like to make a comment or a question? Yeah, I'll send it to you. Well, Krishna actually had his own intention, obviously. It says he has his own intention and he knows what the outcome is going to be. But he also was entertaining, he's also being Krishna with his friends, and he also was entertaining them too. He also was entertaining them, but it wasn't maliciously. It wasn't malicious. But in his pastimes, Krishna knows everything, but he doesn't know.
Hari Purusha Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusha
Page 74, Vibhavade Shesha. Night is ended from Kalyana Kalpataru by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Vibhavade Shesha Aloka Pravesha Nija Jari Uda Jiva Vibhavade Shesha Aloka Pravesha Nija Jari Uda Jiva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagri Eva Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagri Eva Nashinga Vamana Shimada Sudana Prajanjana Dana Shama Singavamana Shimada Sudana Prajanjana Dana Shama Putana Gatana Kaitapasatana Jaya Dasarati Rama Tanagatana Kaitapasatana Jaya Dasarati Rama Yasoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Puran Dada Soda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Bodandada Gopi Priya Jana Radhikada Mana Bhuvana Sundara Pada Gopi Priya Jana Radhikada Mana Bhuvana Sundara Pada Mavana Takara Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vacha Hari Manatakara Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vacha Hari Prachirana Gopa Vrindapala Chidari Bansit Hari Yoginja Bandana Shinandanandana Prashachana Paya Hari Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Bam Sibi Hari. Yasodanan Dana Kamsani Shudana Nikunjara Sabi Lati. Kadamba Kanana Rasapara Yana Pinda Vipina Niva Asi. Ananda Vardhana Premani Kaitana Pulasara Yoja Kama. Gopanga Nana Chitra Vinodana Samasta Gunagana Dama. Yamuna Jivana Kele Parayana Manasa Chandra Chako Ora. Yamuna Jivana Kele Parayana Manasa Chandra Chako Ora. Namasudharasa Kaya Krishna Yasa Rakovachana Mana Mora. Vivara Veshesha Aloka Pravesha Nija Jariuta Jiva. Murari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva. Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Shirare. Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The night has come to an end, and the light of dawn is entering. O Jiva soul, arise and give up your sleep. Chant the holy names of Lord Hari, giver of liberation, enemy of demon Mura, supreme enjoyer, all attractive, and Hari Griva, a horse-headed incarnation. Narasimha, half man, half lion incarnation, Vamana, dwarf incarnation, killer of demon Madhu, beloved son of Braja's ruler, beautifully dark complexioned, slayer of witch Putana, destroyer of demon Kaitaba, and victorious son of Dasarath, Lord Rama. Darling of Yasoda, giver of pleasure to cows, land, and spiritual senses, cow protector, Lord of Vrindavan, the gopis' beloved, lover of Radhika, and most beautiful in all the worlds. Cause of demon Ramana's demise as Lord Rama, butter thief, robber of the gopis' girls' clothes, young herdsman of Braj, protector of the other coward boys, thief of hearts, and flute carrier. Worshipped by the best of the yogis, Nanda's joy, remover of all fears for the people of Braj, colored like a fresh rain cloud, enchanting in form and charming while wandering and playing a flute. Yasoda's joy, vanquish of demon Kim Kamsa, and joy of the rasa dance among the forest groves, and especially under the Kadama trees and resonant the woods of Brinda, increasing the ecstasy of his devotees, reservoir of all love, the transcendental Cupid who uses his flowered arrows to increase the loving desires of all the gopis, the pleasure of the hearts of all coward women and men, and the abode of all wonderful qualities. The life of the Yamuna River, always absorbed in amorous pastimes, and moon of the mind, which is like the moon of feeding Chakor bird. Heed my words, O mind. These holy names are full of nectarian valors. Therefore, sing the glories of Krishna. Shri Shivada Golokananda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhajanam Nirvapanam Nibat Chandrika Janam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Vidipadam Purnamastavanam Sarvapma Sanapam Param Jayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakadi Bahuda Nijasara Shaktis Machapita Niyamata Smarane Nakala Matadashita Bhaktipa Bhagavama Mapi Durdaivam Idrisham Yajani Anugrah Trinada Peace and Etchana Durada Peace Ishuna Nani Dhamma Dinena Virtanaya Sarari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadish Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Dishware Bhavatar Perakutaki Twayi Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishme Bababado Kripaya Tabapara Pankaja Stituli Sudarshana Pachintaya Sudaraya Vadanam Gadgadaradaya Gira Pulakari Chitamba Bukada Tavanama Grane Babishite Yugayatam Nimeshena Chakshusha Babashayatam Nyayatam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Ashlishava Padavritam Panasnumam Shinamamahatam Gorotuva Yatatatava Vidata Lampato Napananastu Seva Napada. To the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge and increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we're always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. Transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. They're not even hard and fast rules